was when you walked over to him and said, "Hi, Jack," he would say, "Don't say it in an airport." And I think that was, it does take a little bit of time to catch on to that. But that, I think, in a nutshell, Jack sets people at ease with his one-liners. Traveling to swim meets around the country, I learned more about Jack from his peers, his past teammates, and his friends. Jack grew on all of us in a very good way. Hearing about how the roles that coaches play in people's lives. In my life, Jack was a teacher, a mentor, a friend, and he played a significant role in my life and many other swimmers' lives that he coached. So I just wanted to take a few moments to describe those roles for you. First of all, a coach needs to be a good coach and very competent. Jack was, and he took pride in writing very creative workouts that were challenging, creative, scary, and fun all at the same time. We worked out in a 6-lane, 25-yard pool with about 6 or 7 people in a lane, and somehow we still managed to set the longest yardage records for our team every couple months. His workouts were familiar, yet always different, and he isn't a man of many words, but when he spoke, we all listened. Andy Lloyd, one of Washington State's most decorated high school athletes, coming out of Chinook Aquatic Club during my age group years, came back from college one year and he said to me, "You know, Ur, you don't appreciate how good of a coach Jack is until you come back from college and swim with him for a summer." And that was true. Jack began his coaching career in 1965 at the Norwood Swim Club as a summer league age group and senior team coach. After finishing his education at Central Washington University in '71, Jack's coaching career went from summer league to the Olympic platform. He coached Joe Harshbarger, 3-time world record holder and 10-time American record holder, onto the 1972 U.S. Olympic team. For the next 40 years, Jack would continue to coach on 12 more national and international swim teams. Taking over as senior team head coach of the Chinook Aquatic Club in 1976, Jack would spend the next 19 years developing his team to be one of the most dominant teams in the Northwest and making his name well known on the national scene. Today, Jack continues to coach part-time at Portland Aquatic Club, and despite coaching 3 Olympians and numerous national champions, Jack states that he's most proud of the fact that many former swimmers are masters swimmers, coaching summer league, high school, USS club, or collegiate teams. Jack has developed quite a swimming legacy, and you can see the fingerprints of his presence in the stories people tell, in the way they coach, and how they enjoy swimming into their adult life. Jack is a great coach. Jack was also a teacher to me. He taught me many things throughout my career, and the first thing he taught me was, don't ever leave the hotel without your wallet. I was known for doing that, and he taught me that and how important that was. He also taught us how to persevere and overcome. He taught us to pick ourselves up after failure. He taught us not to fear and to dream big. He taught us to believe in ourselves. I remember my senior year in high school, Jack and I sat down together to make a goal together, and that was to see if we could be the first swimmer to break 20 seconds in the 50-yard free. He worked with me one-on-one for months preparing for this, and our set was 450s with fins from the blocks, trying to break 20 every time. And sometimes we did, sometimes we didn't. And at the state championships, I ended up going 20:02. And even though we just missed it, technically, there was a sense of accomplishment, and the story wasn't over. And if I could summarize that feeling, Megan Esting, one of Jack's star swimmers from Washington State, says it like this: Jack is a soft-spoken coach. He never outright pushed. He never forced anything, but he guided you with reminders, little hints, always keeping your goals in front of you without hammering you over the head with them. When doing a long set of 50s, he would say, "You're holding 28 ones. 27 eighths will get you under 149," and walk away. "I wonder what your rival is doing," and walk away. "Your catch should look like this," and he'd say no more. Nothing more until the next reminder. Looking back at all he had to give me, I wish I had absorbed more, taken his advice more to heart, acted on his nudging more. I could have avoided some big pitfalls if I had listened to him more. But he never would stop leading me and never even implied that he had told me so. We always picked ourselves up where we were and moved forward. And that's what made Jack a great teacher. When we swam beyond our expectations, we celebrated and we moved on. When we fell short, we evaluated and we moved on. And we always did it together. Jack was also a great friend. He loves to tell stories and makes people smile. Jack doesn't say much, but when he does, you pay attention. He would amuse us regularly with one-liners during practices and keep us smiling. One day after practice, he told us he didn't feel so good because he ate too many cherries for lunch. And then another day he said he had had too much chili. And just little stories like that kept us smiling through long workouts. Jack taught us to enjoy life, and he introduced us to many of life's interesting experiences. I'm a fan now of country music, of delicious restaurants, and have developed a great sense of hearing, and I owe it all to Jack. First of all, you know that Jack loves country music. Going to nationals in high school with him, we would be going to the pool for prelims, back from the pool. Go to meals, back from meals. Go to finals, back from finals, listening to country music. Often the same song, whichever one was his favorite at the time. And it grew on us. Anyone who knows Jack also knows that he's very fond of delicious restaurants, and he seems to know where everyone is in every town where there's a swim meet. He took us to County Line in Austin, to Shapiro's Deli in Indy, and the best milkshake in town. Wherever we were, we would be driving there, whether it was just down the street or miles away. I was the one who complained the most, I think, about it, because I say, Jack, I can't go to the County Line and eat all-you-can-eat barbecue ribs before my 200 fly. It's just not going to work. But we still went. And another unique thing about Jack, he has this very unique whistle. I've always remembered it, and I think every Chinook swimmer knows it. It's not a traditional fingers in the mouth or just this screaming whistle where it causes people to plug your ears, but it was this pitch, this frequency that seemed to cut through the noisiest pool decks, whether it was indoors or out. And during warm-up, we would just get out looking for Jack. We'd hear the whistle, and somehow we just kind of gravitate to the sprint lane, and we'd do the rest of our warm-up. When you put all this together, you have someone who is a great coach, a great teacher, a mentor, a storyteller, and friend. But that doesn't seem to just sum it all up. There's more than that. In the Bible, in 1 Corinthians chapter 13, the Apostle Paul writes about love. This is a famous verse that many people have probably heard at wedding ceremonies. Paul talks about faith, hope, and love. In verse 13, he says, "And now these three remain, faith, hope, and love, but the greatest of these is love." Jack was more than a coach. He had faith in us, and we had faith in him. He never gave up hope in us, and we learned to never give up hope on ourselves. After 25 years of knowing Jack, I can tell you that Jack is a man who loves the sport of swimming. He loves coaching. He loves his swimmers. He loves his friends. He loves friendship. He loves sharing good food, good wine, and good times. Simply put, Jack is a man who loves. Please welcome Jack Ridley.
Wow, Uri, you gave my speech. Brutal. One of my ex-swimmers drove here from Sedona today, and he said, "Jack, you've touched so many swimmers in so many different ways." And I go, "Wow, I'm not sure I want to be known that way." I know what he meant, but it just didn't sound right. I want to say good evening to everybody. I hope everybody's enjoying the clinic. And remember, what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. I want to thank Ur for that introduction. And for those who don't know, Ur is a 6-time senior national champion and 3-time NC2A champion of the 200 fly for Cal. First and foremost, I'd like to congratulate the other inductees tonight for their well-deserved honor in this year's class of 2012. and for their contributions to U.S. swimming during their careers. And especially to men's head coach, Olympic coach Greg Troy, for the job that he did with his staff at this summer's Olympics. I thought the men and women both did awesome, and I think they deserve another hand. I'd personally like to thank ASCA and the Board of Directors for this honor and everything they do to promote our sport. This is a highlight for me of 40-plus years as a swimming coach. I still get asked by distant relatives, "Are you still lifeguarding?" And they just don't understand when I tell them I've retired. In college, we all worried about our major, the job market, or wondering what we'd do with the rest of our lives. By the end of my junior year, I knew I wanted to coach swimming. In the summers, I managed pools and coached age group summer league, and returned home after 2 years in the Army. I started coaching in 1971 at Lake Washington Swim Club in the east side of Seattle. My early influences were my high school coach, Lowell Neal, my college coaches at Central Washington, Tom Anderson, Bob Gregson, and the Pacific Northwest Swimming old guard of coaches, Dick Hanula, Bob Miller, Earl Ellis, all who are in the Hall of Fame at this point. Early on, I read all the swimming books I could find, attended clinics, talked with coaches, developed friendships, and always came away with something that worked for me and my program. I want to thank all the athletes, club and high school, that I've had the privilege to work with for their hard work and all the successes we've attained together. Thanks to all the parent groups, both club and high school, for their support, not only helping their kids, but myself as well. A big thanks to all my age group coaches over the years, who over the years prepared the younger swimmers to move up to me and make me look good. Special thanks to family, friends, and coaches who are here tonight. It's been fun working with and serving on the many boards and committees over 30 years at the local, regional, and national levels. My own coaching philosophy developed early in college with quality versus quantity. To swim fast, I believed you had to train fast, and race pace was always important. Some important points in coaching for me that has served me well over the years is to be passionate about your job. Enjoy the process, enjoy the development of workouts and sets, enjoy challenging your athletes. Even when it's hard, make it fun and have fun as a coach, and they'll have fun as swimmers. Enjoy the meets, enjoy the travel, enjoy sharing and learning from your fellow coaches. Enjoy the highs and the lows that the sport gives you. Learn from disappointments. Be a coach to your swimmers. Help them become better. Be a mentor to your swimmers. Teach them about life. Get to know your athletes, their likes and dislikes. Always look for something good in a bad performance or experience. There's enough negatives in this life that I've always tried to be positive. Be a friend, especially when they need one. And I'm all for athlete protection, but sometimes we all need a hug in the right situation. A story I'd like to relate to is in the early 80s, I was attending a NorCal Invitational in Salinas, California with my team from the Northwest. And I was always kind of reverent about attending the meetings with the meet director, and so I'm listening to what the meet director has to say, and here's George Haynes, Sherm Javor, giggling and laughing and telling jokes and having fun and totally ignoring the meet director and the directions of what the meet's going to be. And I thought, now I am in a great sport and this job's going to keep you young. So I knew I was on the right path. As I look back at my career, besides the achievements of my swimmers at all levels, I'm extremely proud and pleased that so many have remained in the sport. As Ur said, as summer league coaches, high school coaches, club coaches, college coaches, master swimmers, and triathletes. It's very gratifying, and a lot of them are here tonight, and I appreciate that. To finalize, he mentioned that I've coached a number of national teams and some great memories besides my personal ones with my own swimmers, from national teams attending the 72 Munich Olympics with my first Olympian is at the top of the list. Coaching my first national trip to the World Championships in Calais, Colombia, and running up the 3 crosses on the hill. You had to be there to understand that, and I know some of you are here. 77 Australian nationals with a girl, 14-year-old girl named Tracy Calkins and an old guy named Stu Isaac. So they were on the trip with me, and that was fun. Winning the short course World Championships in Bonn, Germany in '85. Jay was there, and that we won that by 1 point. Coaching UR in '72 in Barcelona was a highlight. Working with Janet Evans, the U.S. meet versus Stanford in '95. Trip to Rio in '95, short course worlds with Richard Thornton. U.S. B team in England in '97. We had a couple high school kids named Brendan Hansen, Ian Crocker, and Eric Vent. Turned out to be pretty good swimmers from that trip. A national team beating the Big Ten in a dual meet in Chicago in '98. And my last national trip was in '99, and having B.J. Bedford win the 400 IM against Great Britain and England. And she was a 100 backstroker, so that was a pretty big feat, and we really appreciated the points there. Swimming is such a great sport, and it's a great profession. And how lucky and thankful I've been that I was able to do this for a living. Something that I've loved and never once considered a job. Thanks again for this honor, and enjoy the rest of the evening.
Coach John Woods, who's been coaching for many, many years for USA Swimming. He's been in Orlando,